My daughter's school has a zero-tolerance policy for violence, but apparently touching girls without permission gets a free pass if you're disabled, and now my family is fighting a legal battle because one mom refuses to teach her son about consent. Posted by you/throwaway_gaytismdad. Hey everyone. First time actually posting. My family consists of me, 32M, my husband, 35M, and our adopted daughter Kayla, 14F. Kayla has autism. She's partially nonverbal, and has extreme sensory issues. She goes to a public school with a decent special education program. She's in a class separate from all the other students with multiple teachers. Kayla is really happy and gets along with most of the kids. The class is allowed to join one of the general population gym classes. I was really worried about this at first, but this class is actually really nice to the special ed kids. All the kids in special ed are really nice and sweet, except for this one boy. Josh, 16M, has Down syndrome. Josh's mom is the kind of mom that I can't stand. She doesn't enforce any rules on her son. She never corrects his behavior or tells him no. Josh isn't a mean or violent kid. The problem is that this boy has no concept of boundaries or consent. He's very physically affectionate. My daughter does not like being touched at all unless she specifically asks for it. He's always grabbing her, tickling, hugging, pinning her down to cuddle. She tells him no politely, but that just makes him upset and he tries harder to touch her. The teachers have to constantly stop him. Last Friday, I got a call that the principal wanted to have a meeting after school. Kayla was in trouble for hitting a boy in her class. Kayla was waiting in the office. The principal gave a whole speech about how violence is absolutely unacceptable, etc. I asked her what happened. They were in gym class for free day and Kayla was jogging laps around the gym. Josh was off to the side with a group of girls playing tickle tag. As Kayla was passing by, she felt hands on her behind. She spun around and slapped him across the face. Josh fell to the floor and started loudly crying. He wanted Kayla to join them playing, but instead of asking her, he just ran up behind her and tickled her behind. I felt so bad for my little girl. She was so upset. I assumed the punishment would be dropped, but the principal wanted a week of detention. I was floored. She thought she was being groped, it was self-defense. The principal said Josh wasn't harassing her, he was just playing. Even if he was, violence of any kind is not tolerated. I asked if Josh would be punished for touching my daughter's behind, and he said no. He has Downs, he doesn't know any better. I unloaded on the principal. Are you going to let him graduate and send him out into the world as an adult thinking it's okay to sneak up behind girls and touch their behinds? He needs to learn that behavior isn't okay. The principal kept to that same stupid excuse. I stormed out and took Kayla out for pizza. Josh's mom was blowing up my phone the whole time, but I ignored her. My husband agreed that Josh's behavior was inappropriate, and her reaction was reasonable, but that maybe Kayla should apologize to Josh for hitting him. Since he doesn't know why he got hit. Am I the jerk? Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Absolutely NTB. The school administration seriously needs to check themselves and look at security footage or something if this has been a pattern of Joshua. The double standards are crazy here, that the fact that he has Down syndrome excuses him but Kayla's autism and sensory issues mean nothing? Ridiculous. Ops response. They think that because he didn't have any intimate intentions that it's all a misunderstanding and he should be let off the hook. Honestly, I can't stand people that don't hold disabled kids accountable when they act inappropriately. Kayla is a lot more mentally developed than the other kids, she's the only one that does work at her grade level and has the mental capacity of a teenager. So she's expected to be a lot more patient and understanding, even when the other kids make her uncomfortable. Commenter 2. Do they think that people with that condition are incapable of intimate feelings? Because once his hormones kick in and he actually starts wanting that kind of thing, he'll have no actual idea of how to behave, and he'll actually start harassing people. He needs to be taught about consent ASAP. Ops response. I couldn't include that in the post because of the character limit, but I did bring that up to the principal. He seemed shocked and disgusted that I would even suggest that Josh could have intimate intentions. I think he actually does think that Josh has the mental state of a small child and that makes him incapable of being aroused. But he's a 16-year-old boy, it's not out of the question. Unfortunately his mom also seems to think this. Commenter 3. NTB zero tolerance policies are nonsense for this reason. She was only defending herself after she was touched without her consent. And I'm assuming she's given Josh warnings before this incident and tried to enforce her boundaries. I'd honestly push the issue of teaching boundaries to Josh and escalate it if teachers and admin try to justify the behavior again. I'm sorry your daughter went through that. I hope she's alright and her being punished is completely unfair. Ops response. She has enforced her boundaries multiple times. She always politely tells him no when he tries to touch her, but he just pouts and tries even harder until a teacher comes over to stop him. My husband and the group chat of other parents from the special ed class don't think the detention is necessary, but about half the group chat thinks she should apologize and we should tell her not to hit people. I don't think it's a big deal. She's never hit another kid before, and if she was actually being groped with intimate intent, I would expect her to hit the creep touching her. Update, 5 days later. Hi everyone. I really did not expect my first post to get nearly as much attention as it got. I had to turn off notifications for the Reddit app because it was constantly blowing up my phone. In my first post, I talked about a repeated issue my autistic daughter, Kayla, 14F, has had with a boy in her class that has Down syndrome, Josh, 16M. He has no concept of boundaries and keeps trying to be physically affectionate with people that don't want to be touched, including my daughter. Last week there was an incident where he touched her behind, and she slapped him. The principal wanted to punish her for hitting him, but not Josh because it was just a misunderstanding. The comments under that post were flooded with dozens of stories about people with developmental disabilities that aren't taught boundaries or consent, and go on to commit inappropriate behavior. This honestly has me terrified for the safety of my daughter, and the other kids in her class. What if he's touched other kids inappropriately before? What if he's done even worse? Kayla has a level of mental development to recognize what Josh did was wrong, but I don't know if the other kids in her class would. I showed my husband the Reddit post. He read the comments, and I could see the color drain from his face. He felt awful for suggesting she should apologize to him. We talked for a long time, and decided what to do. First, we sat down with Kayla. We had a long talk about boundaries, bodily autonomy, and consent. We reassured her that protecting herself like that was absolutely the right thing to do. No one should ever touch her like that without her permission. She cried and hugged us a lot. We gave her full permission to stop being polite to Joshua. He's had enough polite refusals. If he keeps this up, raise her voice, get aggressive, yell at him, shove him away. It doesn't matter if he cries, she needs to protect herself. And if he gets aggressive, or touches her somewhere inappropriate again, she has our full permission to hit him. Sometimes it's better to be safe than polite. We're going to take the advice many people in the comments gave us. We're filing a police report for harassment against Josh and going above the principal to the superintendent and the school board. Depending on how those meetings go, we might consult a lawyer. Thank you all so much for opening my eyes. I'm going to do everything to protect my daughter. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. My brother has Downs. He is very loving and friendly and loves to make people laugh. He also understands he can't just go up and hug or touch people. We taught him very young and reinforced that. Josh is touching people inappropriately and that can set him up for others doing the same to him. His mother in that school is failing him. I hope by you taking things further up the chain of command things get settled. Ops response. I feel I should acknowledge this. There are other kids in my daughter's class with Downs, and they're all wonderful kids. Very nice and sweet. A few of them have problems with emotional regulation or following rules, but they're not bad kids at all. Josh and Josh's mother are the problem. Update 2, 1 week later. I know a lot of people have been waiting for an update on the situation with my daughter. Quite a few things happened. I can't give too many details, because there are active investigations and legal cases going on, but I figured I'd give all the lovely people that helped me on the right path a good update. There was another incident in school with my daughter Kayla and Joshua. He tried to hug her when she didn't want to be, and instead of being polite, she was assertive like I told her to be. She sternly told him no, and when he kept trying, she pushed him away. Josh actually picked her up by her waist to try to force her to hug him. She bit him hard enough to draw blood. I am so proud of my little girl. The principal suspended her after that. While she was out of school for the rest of the week, the police and CPS got involved because of my police report. And the school board took action about my complaints. The principal has been suspended pending investigation, and an interim principal is in place. I already like him. The first thing he did was have a meeting with me and Kayla. He was calm, reassuring, and agrees that the behavior of Josh and the previous principal were absolutely unacceptable. Josh is suspended indefinitely while the police and CPS investigation is going on, and Kayla is back in school. She's been so much happier at school without having to deal with Joshua. She's been eager and excited to go to school. I've contacted a lawyer, and we're talking about if we have a case to sue the old principal. We're just in the beginning stages, but things seem to be going good. She's a cousin of a friend, so she's taking our case pro bono. Thank you so much for helping me find the correct path forward. Fingers crossed everything goes well.